Have you ever waited so long for something that you started to wonder if God forgot you? That's what Sarah lived through. She wasn't just waiting for a dream, she was waiting for a promise from God. God told her husband Abraham, "I will make you a great nation. I will bless you." Genesis 12:2, but there was one problem. Sarah couldn't have children. And by the time the promise came, she was already barren and aging. Year after year, no pregnancy, no answers, just silence. Can you relate? Holding on to a promise when everything around you says it's too late. That's where Sarah was, so she tried to fix it her way. She told Abraham to have a child with her servant Hagar, and they did, but that wasn't God's plan. That decision caused division, jealousy, and heartache, because when we try to rush God's process, we often create problems we weren't meant to carry. But even in her doubt, even in her brokenness, God didn't take back his promise. Years later, when Sarah was 90 years old, God visited again. Genesis 18:10. "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son." Sarah laughed when she heard it, not out of joy, out of disbelief. Because how could something so broken, so impossible, still be part of God's plan? But God replied, "Is anything too hard for the Lord?" Genesis 18:14. And just like that, God made good on his promise. Genesis 21:1. The Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. She gave birth to Isaac. Her laughter turned to joy, and her story became a testimony of faith through the waiting. So what does Sarah's story mean for us right now? It means God's promises are not on your timeline, they're on his. And even when you mess up, even when you laugh in doubt, even when the clock runs out in your mind, God is still faithful. Maybe this season you're waiting for a breakthrough, a healing, a relationship, a calling that feels delayed. Can I tell you something? It's not too late. You are not too far gone, and God's promise hasn't expired. Like Sarah, your story isn't over just because time has passed. He is the God of the impossible. He's not in a hurry, but he's never late. So hold on, trust again, even if your faith feels like a whisper, because when God fulfills his promise, your laughter will return, and you'll realize it was worth the wait.